Hello and good afternoon. My name is Martin Coward, and welcome to Noonday Meditation and Contemplative Prayer Power Hour, where we have been gathering together to create a virtual sanctuary, a refuge from all the challenges and the drama that's going on in our world right now since this pandemic. And there's no shortage of drama. There's no lack of darkness. This is a painful, painful, painful time. I mean, it's just almost sometimes unbearable. So, who do we trust? What do we trust to guide us through this? And I would have to say that we first have to look within ourselves. What part of ourselves do we trust to guide us through this? Because you see, we all live in the uncomfortable paradox of two worlds simultaneously. One world, the human world, the world where our ego thrives and tries to make world its own. The material world is one world we live in, and that is typically we operate that often with the ego. And that world is often run by our drive and our need for success, for power, to be right. And in some levels, we do need that in order to navigate this planet. So let's don't give our egos completely a bad rap. It's just when we become unaware of it is when we have a problem. When we think we are that and there is nothing more. Hey, Audrey, how are you doing today? I want to talk about who's got the keys to the bus. Who's got the keys to the bus to drive us through this pandemic? And there's two parts of us that have possibilities to have keys for the bus. And when I wake up in the morning, my ego has got the keys to the bus. My ego is ready to go. It wants to look at my iPhone first thing. My instinct is to grab that iPhone, look at what I missed overnight, and jump in and start saving the day, rescuing the world from all these bad, evil people over there who created this friggin' nightmare we're all living in. That's one part of me. And that's very much alive and well, and it's here. That part of me wakes up with me every single day. Every day. I call it vultures on the bedpost. They're ready to drive out and fix it all, rescue the world from my biggest sort of shadow behavior is my rescuer. I want to save the world from all these bad, awful people out there. Anybody else feel like that sometimes? And it always depends on, what the thing is that I'm somebody else's bad, evil person. When you look at it from the egoic perspective, because they think they're different from me. So that I've learned through my contemplative practice, another way to start my day. And that's what I want to talk about. Because I don't want my ego, the part of me that wants to be right, that wants to win at all costs, that wants to blame other people for the problem. I don't want that part of me driving the bus today. Because I have lived in a life where that did drive my bus every day. And that's a very painful way to live. It's lonely and it's just a painful way to live. Instead, what my practice has taught me to do is to get up in the morning and go downstairs. And I love latte. I love coffee. I used to own a coffee shop. So I love good coffee. So I get up in the morning and I make myself a beautiful big cup of latte, coffee latte. And I've been using oat milk recently, which I really like because it's creamy and it's tasty, and it's much better for you than milk, cow milk. So I get up in the morning and the first thing I do is I begin to all of a sudden feel better because I'm enjoying making the coffee because I enjoy coffee. If you like tea, get up and make tea, whatever you like. So I go through this kind of ritual, if you will, of making my coffee in the morning with my favorite cup. I have a favorite cup that's got the word joy on it. And I go grab my coffee and I make that, and then I go out on this porch where you see me sitting, and behind me is a favorite rocking chair that came out of my grandmother's house in Arlington, Georgia, in South Georgia. And that was the same rocking chair that I used to love to sit in when I was a little boy and visit with my grandmother. So I've got my coffee all hot, delicious. I'm sitting in my favorite chair that I was so familiar with, and I'm watching the sun come up. And I'm just being present. And I know that there are times when I can get this urge to go grab my phone, see what I got to do. See what I'm saying? I don't do it most of the time. I have done it before. I have given in, but I can feel the urge to grab that phone or make that call. No, I've got enough practice that I want to just be still. And oddly enough, it doesn't take very long. All of a sudden, that whole fear-driven shift that I've got to rescue the world shifts to love, and I want to participate in healing the world. I want to be a part of. That's why I do this. So that's what I do in the morning. That's how I start my day, is to simply find the driver of the bus, if you will. The driver of my day can either be the fear-driven impulses of my ego or the love-driven desires of my heart. And I don't think the world right now needs any more narcissistic, egoic behavior. I just don't. I don't think that's going to serve anything or anyone. So, as simple as it may seem, I get out of the bed in the morning and I just simply learn to be present. That's my first act for the day, is to be present. Be present and wake up with gratitude and love for being alive. And I think, Audrey, you mentioned that the other day. You were just grateful for I think you had your anniversary not long ago, and you got your good health, and I think you do the same thing. You wake up in the morning and you just wake up with a sense of gratitude. And from that inner sense of gratitude, from that inner sense of the truth of that's what we are, we have everything to be grateful for. Just life itself is something to be grateful for. Life itself is a miracle. And so when I can make that transformational shift first thing in the morning, in those first 7 minutes, researchers say that how we spend the first 7 minutes of our morning has an impact on how we spend our entire day. So if I get up out of the bed, and I've done this, I know what this is like. I've gotten out of the bed and couldn't wait to get to my iPhone and see how much money I got in my bank, and what did people see doing, and what happened? What did the other party do last night? What did Trump do? What did he say? And I can't say that, and I got to get in there and get in that fight. Well, I get in that fight all day long, and that's like fighting. It's like fighting windmills. It's just nonsense because I don't do anything but just get myself upset. Really, and find other people to jump in and agree with me that I'm right, which my ego freaking loves. Of course, I got to be right. Um, and I got to share something with you. You're gonna tomorrow. I've been writing my thing for tomorrow. I'll give you a little spoiler. I'm not gonna give you a spoiler, but stay tuned tomorrow because I'm going to be writing a headline tomorrow. It's going to get some attention. Uh, it's for the right reason, I hope, but it's still scary. I'm going to write a headline tomorrow. I've been writing on that today. It's going to get some attention, and it came out of an article I read that one of the things that Biden wants to do is he doesn't want to probe into and extend the probe and the investigations into Trump. Is he wants to move forward and heal the country, and I think that's good. And I came up with an idea that I want to write about how we can get started right now. So we'll keep you in suspense. I'm just going to give you a little teaser right there, but I'm going to put out tomorrow a headline that should wake us all up to a new idea that's, I guess I feel a little bit rebellious, a little revolutionary about, but it's coming from the heart, and I think you'll see it tomorrow, and I think you'll have some fun with it. But I just want to say, when we start our day from a place of love and gratitude, when I start my day from a place of love, I'm able to find the guidance in me that I can trust to guide me to a better day, to guide me to a place of making a difference in the world. And I hope in some way that these noonday broadcasts that we do every day, we come together to love and support each other. I hope they add some value to your life. They certainly do to mine. It's what grounds me every day. I mean, sitting down and writing these pieces. Somebody said to me, you write your pieces are nice, but they're so long. I said, I know, but I'm going to turn them into a book one day. This is what we did. This is what I did during COVID-19. This is what I wrote about. This is what I talked about. This is why I did it, because it was painful. And we needed some relief from the pain and the frustration and the anger. So I created these noonday sanctuaries for us to share in that pain and anger and frustration. Yeah, that's what we do. So that's how we find that trustworthy. And then let me take it a little further. Then once I tap into and you tap into, let's call it Joy the Wise Woman, that's what I call her, that divine presence within us, the creative presence, the power of love, unconditional love. When we're tapped into that, this is what we mean by the power of attraction. We're going to be attracted to other people out there who are doing the same thing, who share that same heart-centered driving force to make a difference in the world. We know who they are. We know who they are. We know who those leaders are in the world right now. Joe Biden, his first order of business is to heal this country and control this virus. That's not a personal agenda for his own power. That is something he wants to do, as he's been hired by the people to lead us out of this friggin' dark mess. And I can tap into that. I can tap into that from my heart to his heart, and you can too. Because it feels better. It feels like hope. It feels exciting. It feels like you're loved and you're cared for. And that's what human beings want. They want to feel loved. They want to be cared for. They want to belong here. Everybody wants to feel belong. Even those people over on the other side of the aisle that we often don't like and don't trust. I promise you, behind all that fear and frustration and anger and all the flag waving and nonsense and the big trucks and the noise, there's a little boy and little girl in there that just wants to be loved. So maybe the president. It's just a lonely little boy in there, I think, who has never, ever experienced love. Doesn't know what it is. Doesn't understand it. All he knows is what he does. That's all he knows. It's kind of sad, isn't it? To be 70-something years old and never actually have experienced love. Wow. That's a miserable way to live. I look at him and I think, I don't want anything there's nothing he has that I want. Nothing. Nothing. And he's in the most powerful position on the planet with more well, now actually I think he has more debt than anything. He has money, but I don't want that either. I don't want his money or his debt. I don't want anything about him. I don't like me. I don't like what I got. I'm really grateful for what I got in my role. I'm very grateful for my role I get to play in this whole thing. And that's what I'm doing right now. And it's not about, I don't have like thousands of people following me here every day. I have a handful of people who come every day and join me. I think that's fantastic. Because we're all one anyway. So people are hearing us whether they're on here or not. They're energetically that I'm putting this out there. And when you put that love out in the universe, it heals. It's the most healing thing we can do. So right now, my encouragement, and that's what I'm going to be talking about from now until, as long as I can think of, my job and is to step into my heart every day and take my part and healing the fear that divides this country. And to send love and support and gratitude for the people on the front line in healthcare. And we are going to find we're going to find some ways, some therapies. I read something the other day that there's some kind of a mouthwash that you can put in your you can gargle with that actually immediately kills this virus. I read something the other day that they've got something some aerosol that you spray in your nose that kills the virus when it tries to enter your system. So, and we've got two vaccines. We are going to come this. We are going to have COVID-19 behind us one day, and I hope we have a united country at the same time. I think only God can get us that. He is ruling over everything. Yes, we must also try and love can end. Yeah, but I agree. But where is this God? The God is in you, man. It is who you are. It is who I am. That is who we truly are. It's not some God out there in La La Land that we created in Bible school. It is the light within us that gets us ourselves out of the darkness first. That's the whole point of my conversation this morning. We first must shine the light on our internal darkness, our hate, our dislike, our need to be right, our egoic characteristics. It's not just try, we must love our God, the divine within us, and our neighbor as ourselves. It was a commandment. It was a commandment by Jesus, by the Christ. Also a commandment by Buddha, too. Not quite like those words, but the same thing. And I'm pretty sure it's the same teachings of Muhammad. To love, shine the light in the darkness. And we human beings are called to do that. We human beings are to surrender our egoic needs and desires, to open our hearts, to surrender to that divine presence within us and heal and guide ourselves and the world out of this darkness. And I know you know that because I know you teach love. That's what you do. You teach love. So, yes, but we really have to get clear that God is something that we are God. We are God. Not me, Martin, this little individual over here. That's a human being. It's a human. But the being part that connects you and me is one God. And it connects all of life. And that's the essence of who and what we are. Regardless of whether you come at it from a believer or a non-believer, Christian or non-Christian, it doesn't really matter. There is only one God, and that God lives within us, and it's the essence of who and what we are. We all have access to that healing power. And we're all called not to just try it, but to do it. Develop a practice for loving our God, ourselves, our life, and each other. And that's how we guide ourselves out of this darkness. So we're in agreement, my friend. We're in agreement. Because only the divine within us that is always going to move us out of the darkness. And to say, and it's the ego, it's the darkness that blames the darkness for being dark, by the way. It is the darkness in me that is going to blame the darkness in you for the darkness. You and I have it. We both got shadows. Nobody escapes this. No human being escapes their shadow side. We all have it. And when we can learn to accept that part of ourselves, we can learn when the light in us, the divine in us, can learn to love and accept the dark in us, the darkness with us, with unconditional love, then we live in peace because there's no more darkness. And yes, love is the only thing that's going to that's going to heal the split between us. The only thing. So we're in agreement. That's why I think you come here, because We need to come to confirm our experience of the world, replace of darkness and light. And that's what I mean when I started out saying we live in the uncomfortable paradox of both worlds. To say I don't live in pain and fear and darkness is a lie, because I do. And there's a part of me that wants to go out and kill people for being so friggin' selfish. But what part of me wants to do that? The selfish, narcissistic part, the shadow part. But it's there. And if I'm able to look at that dark shadow part within me, and honestly and truthfully, and accept that part of me as part of who I am as a human being, then the power, it loses its power. I no longer want to go out and kill anybody. I want to love them. But we start with ourselves. We always start with ourselves. We always start with the divine in us to heal the darkness in us and ourselves. And then we have something to shine to the rest of the world. But it's love, the power of love. That's what we do. Just that simple. Simple, but not easy to do. And I promise you, I wake up in the morning sometimes and I am not happy with what I'm reading. Although I don't read it till much later. But that's not how I want to start my day. I don't want to start my day angry and mad at the world and blaming others. I want to start my day in my favorite chair with my coffee and wake up to the love and gratitude for this life and wake up that divine, that God, wake up the God within me to wake up the God within you. And think about something. Suppose we wake up the God within, let's make it big. There's a God inside Donald Trump. There is a light inside that man. The same light that's in me and in you is in Donald Trump. As much as we want to put our finger in him and say, oh, he's a bad, evil person. This is what I'm talking about. When Jesus said, love your neighbor, that's what he's talking about, because he's not really our neighbor. The essence of him, the life force within him, but he hasn't been, I don't think he's ever experienced love. I don't see that when I look at him, watch his behavior. So I can have some compassion for him as a human being. I don't have any tolerance for his bad behavior and destructive behavior at all. But from a human perspective, and an evolved, loving man, I can have compassion and feel empathy for a man that's that lost in fear and drowning. And why not? Why not? It's healing for me. I did something about it in March. I did a workshop where I actually went on live, Facebook Live. You can watch it. It's on my YouTube channel. It's practicing the art of radical forgiveness, where I actually forgave Donald Trump. And in 1 hour, I went from fear and anger and frustration to love and gratitude. It's amazing, the power of love. It's amazing, the power of love and forgiveness. That's what I'm going to talk about tomorrow, too. So stay tuned for that. Thank you for joining me. I love that you come here every day. It's just really a joy to see you come on here, because it's what I really love about it is we have the same we have the same experience in life. We have the same principles of understanding that it's the divine and the love. But I think that what we often have a hard time doing when we're younger is really accepting the fact that that divine presence is something we have within us. And our goal is not to try, but our goal is to love our enemy and love our neighbor as ourselves and treat everyone with love and respect and compassion. Sorry, I could not agree with you in a few. I will discuss it another. You don't have to agree with me. I don't want people to come in here and agree with me. I want people to come in here and have a discussion with me. You do not have to agree with me. I welcome this. I welcome discussion, because what I typically find when we're willing to listen to understand each other, then um, then we can agree. So your thought about God is whatever your thought about God is. It's your relationship with God. It's not for me to decide what your relationship with God is. It's your relationship with God. It's your relationship with your divine presence. I don't know what that is, and I think that's good. What I pick up from you is that you have a loving relationship with the divine within yourself. God is in all things. There is nothing that's not God. There's nothing that's not God. God created everything that you see, touch, and feel, and beyond what you feel, touch, and agree. There is nothing that is not God, including the darkness. So, if you have a different, that your thoughts are welcome. I am no, I am glad to hear what you what your relationship to God. If you want to share it here, fine. If you want to come on my show and as a guest and share your thoughts about God, that would be welcome too. I don't have the I don't have the final say. Uh, only thing I want is people have to come over here and talk about things that have to come from a place of love and generosity and gratitude. I don't tolerate anybody coming on here and talking about hate and things like that. I don't think that would be you. But if you want to come on my show one day as my guest and talk about how you relate to God and what you're doing to help heal this world right now, I'd love to have you as my guest. It could be a fun conversation to get your perspective. There you go. There's your offer. My thoughts are mine and your thoughts are yours, and I love and respect all of them. I'll say something about I don't have a belief in God. I don't have a belief system. I have an experience. I think that's what separates me as a mystic. Is that I live in a mystical union with God. I don't have a belief system. I don't have a belief system. So there's really going to be a chance for any argument because if you have a belief system, that's your belief system, and I don't. But and that's good. But for me, I talk about my experience with God, not about a belief system or a religious structure to attach to and belong to. You know, I'm a part of the world, and I talk about the mystical union of myself and God and divine. That's not a belief system. That's my experience. That's all I talk about is my experience and my understanding of my experience from scripture and spiritual wisdom reading from sages, from the ancient sages. Whether we're reading Rumi or we're reading Richard Rohr, it doesn't matter, but we know the truth when we hear it. So when you're coming on my show, when you're going to come talk to us, share your truth with the wisdom of the world. So let's meditate and let's get in touch with that divine presence. Raise your arms in the air and feel the life force within you. That life force that runs the universe. Right there in your heart is the center of creation. It is the center of all creation. And feel your way into it. Soften the mind. Let go of your beliefs just for a moment. Your thoughts, your opinions, your judgments. Let them go. Hold on to nothing about this material world. It is all a material world. It is all an illusion. The only thing that's alive is the spark of light in your heart. So let go of everything else. Hold on to nothing. And fall into that stillness within you and within me called unconditional love. It is loving without conditions. It is a formless spaciousness within all of us that has the power to heal the world. So let go of your thoughts. Let go of your beliefs. Let go of your opinions about yourself, about me, this world, the leaders. Hold on to nothing. Let go of all your concepts about what is good and bad, right and wrong. Let them go. Let go of all your stories and your narratives. Surrender them and be totally present with the divine force within you and within me. It is that same divine force. And be grateful for it. Open your heart with gratitude. Be a co-creator with the Creator in its creation of all things. It's so much bigger than our minds can understand. And let go and fall into that place of unconditional love that surpasses all understanding of the human mind. And just feel your way deeper within yourself. And when thoughts come up, beliefs come up, and you want to argue with them, try a different thing. Just welcome it and let it go. And fall back into the stillness of unconditional love. Allow the sound of that bell, the sound of my voice, to wake us up from our thoughts, our beliefs, our stories, all those narratives, and let them go and fall back into the stillness of unconditional love. One more time. Allow the sound of that bell, the sound of my voice, to wake you up out of your thoughts, out of your beliefs, out of your story, out of your narrative, and let them go and fall into the emptiness, into the stillness, into the divine within you and within me. And there's our final bell. And welcome back. Where are you now? Who are you? Who's driving your bus? What's going to drive the rest of your day? What part of you is going to guide you and me out of this darkness? Who is going to guide us out of this darkness? Who can you trust? What part of you can you trust? I'm grateful for Joy the wise woman, the divine feminine within me, that I have a loving relationship with, to guide us out. It's not Martin. I just become the servant. And it is my absolute joy to serve the Divine Mother and the divine presence of God in the world. It's my absolute joy to feel this presence, experience this presence for you today. So thank you. And may love and prosperity prevail.